I'm gonna try to do my intro without laughing. Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good evening, wherever you are. So today we're gonna talk something about something later. It's more to about why don't we start with introduce yourself?
Introducing myself, huh? Hi guys, wherever you are. Okay, I am Saadiah Husin. Um, what else?
So what's your profession here? What's your profession?
I am an educator
Yeah, in what?
in English.
Okay, so that makes sense then for today's topic. Okay, so as you know, I've been liaising with her a few times on this talk on certain. I think it's important because not all people create similarly. Everyone is different, but yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So can I start with? I got this yesterday when I was looking, and it's about. Yeah, basically, the topic is 3 tips on how to best reach your target audience as a photographer, but that's not the topic. The topic is how to attract people, how to attract followers, which in education is also important because even as educator, you need to attract followers, you need to attract people, and even as in a student point of view, you need to attract friends and to work together, to study together, because alone is hardly possible. It's hardly what
If I may rephrase
yeah,
that, how to make people feel more comfortable with you?
probably yeah, and
Mm.
yeah, yeah, that's good. And is that true to make more comfortable? People when people feel more comfortable and
They will be more engaged.
will be more engaged and
And as a teacher, as an educator, if we are talking about our students, then the students will be more attracted to the lessons,
yeah,
perhaps.
and in the end they will understand it better.
Hopefully, learning
Okay,
takes place.
all right. So the point is, I read the quote and quote. So there are 3 types of learning styles, which is visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. And in this quote also, I quote and quote again, the highest percentage of the population are visual learners, while 35% are auditory learners, and the rest is kinesthetic learners, which is uh, about 40%, about 5%, not 40%, 5%. So, in terms of, I think this the format of our education is based on these visual learners,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, how do we approach these the other 2 types of learners, which is the auditory learners and the kinesthetic learners?
Okay, let me correct that a little bit. I don't have statistics, okay, but looking at the way teachers teach, right, it is more to um, cater for the auditory rather than visual.
Okay.
Although visual learners consists of about 60%,
Yep.
right? Why do I say that? Who is one person who talks even though people don't want to listen anymore? It's the teachers. So we talk and talk and talk. And when talking, we are catering more to the auditory learners rather than the visual learners. Visual is showing them something, slides, writing on the board. Yep. But most teachers, they like to talk. Professors, they talk and talk and talk. Right? Okay. And sometimes we forget that kids, being kids, they need to be active. They need to do things. They cannot just sit and listen to you or sit and look at you, look at the board, look at the slides without doing anything. So that is where the kinesthetic comes in. Or another name for it would be tactile learners. They need to do something.
Okay. So you're saying that teachers now is more to the second population, which is the auditory learners. So what's the use of slides, lecture slides, and even in experimentation, and they need a visual or guidance like photo guides for them to do experiment and stuff like that. So is that situation is for the auditory or for the visual learners?
Okay, the first part of the question, alright, it's not teachers now. Teachers have always been, but now we are going into blended learning, right? Blended learning, that means we blend everything. We have got videos, we have got slides, we have what else? We channel them to certain websites for them to go and have a look at things themselves to learn. And I believe now teachers and also lecturers, educators, we are slowly going into catering to all the three different types of learners. Alright. Before that, I'm not sure if the audience know what is visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Do I need to explain?
Yeah, you can explain that.
Alright. Auditory are those who listen more. Alright. So in class, for example, we need to talk to them. And auditory learners, don't be offended if they don't look at you. Right? Sometimes they may just look at their papers or look at something else without looking at you, but they are actually listening to you. Right? You will notice that whichever dominant is, left or right, okay, will be directed towards you, and they will be listening, but they don't look. Right? But the visual learners, they will look at you just like you are looking at me now. Right? They will look, because when they don't look, then they don't understand. Not that they don't understand, but they understand less. And then the kinesthetic ones are the ones that need to do things. Okay? They will have pens, they do things. When you talk, when you teach, when you educate in front, they will be writing notes. They need to take down notes. If not, they will understand less. And your second question just now, the second part of your question, what was it again?
I've forgotten. Is whether I really forgotten. Let me ask another question.
Okay.
Let's say you said like kinesthetic, right, for kids. Kids move around, right?
Yeah.
So that means kinesthetic, right? As they grow up, will that change? I've seen everyone change from kids move all the way, all around,
Alright.
throughout the whole day.
Okay.
And then as they grow up, I see that we tend to
More
both,
visual,
yeah,
or more auditory than
yes,
kinesthetic. One thing that educators need to understand is that no one is visual and visual alone. Alright? You, for example, and I myself, at times I can be visual, but that does not mean that I'm not auditory. Right? I can have all three, but there will always be a dominant one at certain time, at a particular time, depending on the situation. I can be visual now, right? But the next hour, probably I will be doing something else. Then I may be more auditory than visual. So we have all these three modalities, because our senses, because of our senses, we have all that. It's just that there will be one dominant at any particular time. So to answer that question, kids, they need to move around, as they grow up, the phases in their life. Yes, they can be more visual, they can be more auditory, but there are also times that they will be more kinesthetic than visual and auditory.
okay. When I was in school, there's a professor came and give us a talk, and he says like most of us are visual learners. Why? Because, and he gives an example. If you say the word cow, what's coming in your mind? It's not C or W, but it's the cow itself. So that means most people are visual learners. Even if he said an alphabet A, what comes here is an image.
Yeah.
So does that mean all people has visual embedded visual learning as their dominance?
Yes. At certain times, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. For example, being an educator, when we are at work, we talk a lot, right? So probably while educating, we are more auditory than visual, because we need to talk and talk and talk. But at home, probably we are not that talkative,
Yeah.
because we have talked a lot. But still, whatever that comes to our mind, whenever everything is said, even an alphabet is said, because we can see,
Yeah.
right? Right, we are not blind, okay, so we can see. So that is the first thing that we see. So yes, everyone has visual modalities as one of their dominant way of learning at certain time,
Okay.
at a particular time.
All right. Well, okay. Let me talk about myself, and you can determine what I am. Is that I've realized that I can't work with. I'm not sure whether is it visual or not. When I was, let's say, cooking books, they said there's a recipe and there's a photos of the finished product. Somehow, I have that. I can't digest most things. It's just that I need what's best works for me is
A
I saw
demo.
videos.
Yeah.
I saw videos of the certain person cooking the same thing. Then I can recreate the same dishes closely. So what's that?
Don't you think that encompasses all three?
So
It's not just visual, because being visual, when you read, okay, you are able to see, and then you look at the finished product, okay, this is what I'm supposed to come up with. Okay, but we need the video because it encompasses all three. How it is made, right? The measurements, how it's done, and also we listen to the instruction while it is being done, right? Okay, and most probably what we will do is we watch the video and we do it together. So it's all three actually, right?
okay. So you mean that's the best teaching for a video is the best teaching?
It is one of the best, all right?
So what happens if you just make a video, you just talk in the video? Will that is an efficient delivery method?
To some people, yes, right? Okay, let me take this example. You know Frozen, right? The movie.
Yeah.
All right. Did you watch Frozen?
Yeah.
Do you still remember the scenes in Frozen? The songs,
Not all of it,
perhaps?
yeah.
Not all, but
Yeah.
some selected scenes that really touch your heart. Probably you remember. All right. Can you remember what we talked about just now?
No.
Right? You see that? Okay, because it was just voice. Okay? But a movie, alright, it contains all the elements. So it's actually the combination of all these elements that will make learning take place, inshallah. Okay, because we combine all. Right? And mind you, in our class we have students of different style. Right? So we need to have a combination of all that. We cannot just talk without stopping, we cannot just use slides and talk, but we also need to have some activities. Okay? So all
So you say
all in one. That is blended learning. Alright? Now that It's 2015. So we make use of the internet a lot, and the students are more resourceful than we were when we were kids. So we make use of all those technology to help us in delivering the lessons. And it's not just delivering the lessons, it's to make sure that learning takes place.
So as an educator, how do you cater for the certain people that can't sit still in a classroom?
People that can't sit still in the classroom.
Because most lecturers or most educators, like if they need the classroom to be quiet, to be still, to be able to deliver the lectures during the class.
That is traditional classroom.
Yeah.
Right? Now we are in 2015, we need to prepare for the 21st century learners. So it's not just talk and chalk. You can talk probably 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? That is long enough, the attention span of the learners. Then you need to do something.
Yeah.
Like what do you call that? Energizers. If you see that the students are getting into yes man. You know what is yes man?
Yeah.
Yes. They're getting sleepy, right? So get them to get up and do some energizers, do some exercises for them. So you've got to have movement in class. It's not just you in front as educator and then your learners in front of you. You got to move around, make sure that you know the students. That is another thing. We have to make sure that we know our students. How do we know our students? How can we reach out? How can we touch the hearts of our students if we don't know who they are? Right? So, empathy lah. Right, empathy in class. Okay.
So that means like if a student came to a class and 15 minutes later they got bored and you didn't do anything, is it okay for them to get out of the room?
That really depends on the lecturer, I would say. Right? And then some students, they just cannot stay. They will go out and then they come back. Right? But to be an effective educator, you must cater to this before they actually go out. Do something. Right? You've got to be aware. Feedback, body language, their body language and all. You've got to be aware.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, that's good. So, like, I thought a question just now. So it's like, if a student, let's say, let's make it simple. So student attendance is important as an indicator for learning situation. It's like you said before, is classroom based education is phasing away. Right? So so they don't have to come to class, so because we have videos now. So is that fine if the student attendance is still important or not?
Students' attendance can be an indicator. Okay? But then when we talk about education, we have that content to deliver to students. Traditional classroom, lecturers, teachers always give the content. 21st century, we can actually ask the students to look for the content themselves. Right? So this is what we call SEL, student-centered learning. So back to your question, attendance. I know the policies of most universities. Okay, they make it compulsory for the students to attend 75 to 80% of the classes. But that depends on the lecturers as well. Like to me, when I first started teaching, almost 20 years ago, I make it compulsory for them to be in class. Okay, I even lock them out if they are late. But now no more. I tell the students every moment in life is a choice. So it is your choice whether you want to come to class or not. Alright? And the way we conduct the class can also be an indicator whether they are interested to come to class or not. So if they come, that means yes, because of the policy, the 75 to 80% of attendance is compulsory. Because of the policy, they may just come to class but they are not interested. So it is our prerogative to make sure that the class is interesting enough to keep the students there. So basically that's it.
You got a call.
I can pick up this call dah.
Yeah,
It's my daughter.
that's fine.
Mm.
So you continue?
Yeah.
And yeah, pick up that call.
Okay.
Sorry for the interruption. We continue it back. So I just thought just now. So since what type of people, people, these three types is best suited as an entrepreneur?
As an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Is it all of them?
I think that depends on their attitude and their whether they are hardworking enough. But as I was saying just now, we have all three. So being an entrepreneur, you've got to have all three. You've got to listen to what people want. Then you've got to look for potential market, and you've got to do things. Still, it's the same thing, all three. But of course, there will be one dominant one at any particular time. In any profession, not just entrepreneurs.
So what do you think a cook would be in this category? An entrepreneurial cook.
Entrepreneurial cook. A cook will always be more kinesthetic, but still, I would say all. I would say all.
Okay.
Some cook are more auditory than others. For example, Chef Wan, he talks a lot. Some other cook, they are not that talkative, right? Still all three, but one dominant one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so did I ask this question before? Is it worth it to cater this to this 5%?
25% is?
No, it's 5%. I said before that
Kinesthetic, yeah.
65% is visual learners, 30
Okay.
is auditory,
Auditory.
and only the rest is 5% is kinesthetic. So is it worth it to invest or not to, or to cater for this situation? Yes, probably there's like, is there any school that specified for these people, like sekolah sukan, that's for people who play sports? Is that sportsman is a kinesthetic person, and so there's a special school for that, and then there's special school for sekolah agama to memorize the Quran and stuff like that, and then the conventional school, and then the special school for the special students.
To answer your question, yes, it is important because each and every one of the learner, they have the right to learn. They have their style, and as effective educators, we need to make sure that we reach out to all of our students. Right? Yes, it is important to cater to this. And kinesthetic is actually divided into two. Number one is movement, where they just move. The other one is touch. Alright? So we've got to, for example, if it is an experiment they need to do, so these people will like it because they need to do things, right? They will be touching all this and then moving from counter A to counter B, the first experiment to the next experiment. But in class, right, we can make use of, like what I said just now, energizers, get them up learning. We can bring models for them to come to class, for them to use during class. We talk a little bit and then ask them to go and have a look at the model, right? Probably we ask them to go and write in front, answer the questions, things like that.
Okay. So what's if there's I've read a quote which says unique but not useful.
Unique but not
Unique,
useful.
useful but not useful. So you think that's true, or something else in your opinion?
Unique but not useful. We can interpret this quote in many ways, right? And I believe it depends on what is the thing that is unique, right? For me, whatever that our creator has created, there must be purposes, there must be uses in it, so it must be useful. If not, why is it there? Isn't it? So that's my 2.6 billion cents opinion.
So you think, in your opinion, the 1 million question, you think our syllabus caters to what type of categories? Our education syllabus.
The syllabus can stay as it is, right? But the way the educators deliver, that is what makes it different. What makes it different? So the way we deliver the content that will cater to all these different modalities, that's what makes it different.
All right. Yeah. I guess that's all from me. I have no question left. Probably I have a few questions last night, but I forgot to record it. I haven't write it down. So you have anything else, your opinion to say on this kind of topic?
Being an educator and being a parent, we must make sure that we cater to all the different styles of our students, of our kids, right? We should not compare. We should not ask a fish to climb the tree or to fly. That would be not fair, right? We should look at the strength of each of our students, each of our kids, each of our children, and then make sure that we provide the styles of teaching, of educating, apt for their learning styles. That's it from me.
Okay. So in your opinion, if a person or if your kids excel in arts but fail in science, is that okay?
Why not?
Okay.
Isn't it? Why not? I myself am not good in maths or chemistry. I failed chemistry, SVM, FYI.
Because there's the stereotype of Asian parents, which is you need to excel in
science.
And,
That's the stereotype, but then we should move away from stereotyping.
Okay.
We should understand that everything is useful, although they are unique.
Alright, I guess it's time for revolution then. I'm not sure when it will happen, but yeah. So I guess that's all.
Thank you very much
For
having me.
For giving a lesson. Even for me, it's like I'm still blurred and I have no clue in this situation, and I know I'm always rebellious that I want to do what I like.
And that is unique and useful.
I'm not sure it's useful or not, yeah, but I find myself useful sometimes,
Yeah.
to myself, but not to others. Yeah, anyway. Anyway, let me finish this. Alright, guys. So that's all for this session. I guess